Hello everyone, I'm Cassandra Donnelly from Creative Passages. I'm a mixed media artist in Norfolk, Virginia, and I want to show you how I made these cute little flowers and these little charms. I made a whole bunch of them. They're real easy to do. You make a masterboard out of different Momigami papers. I did a bunch of my art, but I also used magazine images to make the Momigami masterboards, and then you can then cut it down into 2 inches by 1 inch rectangles. Then you basically round the edges up either with a pair of scissors or with a thing like this. And then you just punch a hole right here, and then you can rim it with metallics like a marker, and if you want you can put a grommet in it, and then you can add some ribbon or twine or yarn, whatever you prefer. And then this, you just take 2 circles, you can cut them out, or you can use a circle punch, which I didn't have much luck with my circle punch. And then you also need a smaller one for your center, which you can cut out or use a small circle punch. And of course, for these you're going to need another hole punch, which could work for a small circle depending on how small you want your center. I did a few tiny little flowers too, and I used a tiny hole punch, and I put little beads on these ones. So I experimented with different ways. There's a sequin on this one. Some of them I did different sized circles. This has 3 different circles in it, a 2 inch, a 1 inch, and then I think this is like a 1/2 inch, and then a little piece of sequin, and then it did a little yarn around this one. And this is my own art that I Momigami'd into a masterboard, and then I just used some thin scrapbooking paper that I got from Temu for the back of it. So for the flowers you want thin paper to adhere your Momigami collage pieces onto, and for they look like little tags, but they're charms, you want a little bit of thicker paper like cardstock. So I used cardstock for mine. It could be watercolor paper. I distressed the back of it. I cut it down into, so these are about 6 inches times 4.5 inches, but really, I mean, I have just different size ones, so it doesn't have to be exactly that. You just want something smaller. I think will be a little easier. I didn't use all of these because I made quite a bit, so I'll use this maybe for tags or journal cards or something else, or another project. Well, anyway, you can add some fluffy yarn to this, and so these are really cute. I like the distressed oxide, you know, on the back. The example I saw, and I'm going to put the link below, didn't show that. The back of it. And then this was the paper from Temu. So I'm going to show you how I made all that. So look at these little ones with the little beads. They're cute. I think I like the little ones the best. You know, I was just experimenting with different size, different ways. I don't know what I'll do with this. I'll stick it in my journal somewhere. Yeah, I like this. I think I like the 1 inch ones, and the really smaller ones the best. This one's really cute. So, all right, so on to the paper flowers. So here's one example using magazine images. Here's another example using magazine images, but it's a little bit larger, and same with this one. So these two I did at work. Had my groups try it out, and they loved it. The teenagers loved it the most. Some people had a harder time than other people, and it required extra assistance. I wouldn't attempt it with the large group. The groups I did it with were smaller. But anyway, I just cut out all the circles for them, and we traced a styrofoam cup. And then we traced the glue lid for these smaller circles, and then we used oil pastels for this one does have a gold metallic rim, but the ones I had them do, I had oil pastels for the rims and for the center. And another idea that the lady in the group had was to fold it, those edges. So I'll show you how we did that. Now for the one in the video, she used 2 of these circles, and they were smaller. And she put the gold rim, or it could be any metallic color marker, on the edges, and then a small hole punch for the center. And then she used a stylus like this, only hers was a little bit larger, to get it to curve up. I personally had trouble with that, and I think the patient's idea to like fold it like this worked better. So we're gonna make some with this, with the magazine images, which we glued down in the strips. And then I want to do some with my own art on this paper right here. I got from Temu. It came in a set with the retro collection. And for the flowers, you want a thinner paper. So not a thicker paper. So these particular ones were done just on regular copy paper, but I think thinner paper will work better. So these are the examples that I made at work. I just cut the paper down to smaller squares and then had them make collages out of it. I just had them choose one magazine, and that took a while just for them to fold it up and then rip it up into strips. And they had both sides of that page they could use. So now that we've got this done, you can use like a 1-inch hole punch, or this one is it's 2 inches. I went with the 2-inch one. Although I was debating about getting a 1 3/4, or 1 3/4 inch, but I went with the 2-inch one. So we're gonna try that, and we're just gonna put it in there. So you want thinner paper, but I don't think I got a good circle. But you don't want it so thin that you can't punch it. So I had to go and experiment with different types of paper to see what would work the best. So that's got just a little rough edge there. And getting a hole punch is not necessary. You could just trace around a round object, a big lid, or at work, we did the bigger flowers. It was the shape of a styrofoam cup. And there's 2 ends of the styrofoam cup too. So let me punch this out. Alright, so we've got to make one like what she has. You have two of them, and then you have a smaller one. So for the smaller one, I'm going to use a 1/2 inch. And I guess I'll go with this paper because it's a different color. Now before you glue it down, if you want to do a metallic edge, you can go ahead and grab your metallic marker. I'm going to do purple here. Just go around the edges. I wonder if I should have done a darker color. Well, I think that'll be pretty. You could always switch it up and do the other one a different color. With my group, the hardest part was trying to do this in 45 minutes. That's how long my groups are. And when we punched it, the glue wasn't that dry yet. And which is okay for just gluing these parts down, but when you're trying to fold up the edges, that was a little bit hard with it still slightly wet. So it's best if you have enough time to let it dry. So we try to do the folding part like last. That worked the best, and like clean up our mess, and then at the very last thing we kind of folded it and had a chance to dry a little bit, so that worked the best. Okay, now before you start gluing it together, what you want to do is get your stylus, or you can try the back of a paintbrush. This one was from the Dollar Tree. Honestly, this part didn't work that well for me. I'm going to try using this, but honestly, I think it works better if you just fold it, but let me kind of show you what the idea is. You're supposed to go around and get it to start to turn up a little bit. I'll show you this. See, I think this is too small. Let's try doing the center, so you can do the center with that. The idea is just to get the edges up just a little bit. I kind of have to just bend it up. See, I think, honestly, I like this idea better. I think it's easier and faster. So this idea is not mine. It's from one of the ladies. Just fold it like a little fan, or like an accordion or something like that. So that's what I'm gonna do. So you can have like a really pronounced fold, or it doesn't have to be that pronounced. Okay, so you see what that did. So I can kind of push it back down, but see, to me that's just faster and better. I'm gonna just do that. So kind of just turn it around, and don't worry about it being perfect. We're just trying to get just a little wave on the end of this. Remember, this particular one I sprayed with the Distress Oxide sprays. Okay, so I'm gonna go like that. I'm gonna just use my stick glue. Put that in there. Put that in there. Put a little bit more in the center here. That's kind of a big glue stick. I don't have a thin one. I tried to buy one of those little thin things, plastic bottles where you could pour your glue in and have this tiny little nozzle, but I couldn't pour my glue in. I couldn't get my glue. It was too thick. Anyway, that is cute. Look at that. I love it. I like it a little bit better sprayed. Yeah, so compared it to this flower. This was a magazine one. This one also is a magazine one, so I haven't got to my own art yet, but I think that's going to look cute. So I'm going to do that next. I'm going to use this. It's just thin scrapbooking paper that I got from Temu, but maybe, well, I guess it's about the same size as other ones. So I'm going to put this back. And I'm going to use, I wanted to use this Momigami paper right here for it. So out of this, I can probably get 6 flowers. Okay, so these are Momigami mini masterboards. The reason they're mini is just because this is a smaller size than you would typically make for a masterboard. And I'm basically just collaging my Momigami papers that I ripped up onto this board. You can do it however you want. Alright, so now I'm going to take my hole punch and I'm going to, I think I should be able to get 6 out of here. It's still slightly moist, but that should be fine.
Alright, you already heard me explain how to do this, so I have this part in fast forward so that this video will not take up so much of your time. So I'm trying to use a hole punch, but I'm really struggling with it. So with these flowers, they can be any size you want, 1 inch, 2 inch, bigger, smaller, and you're going to layer your pieces. Or, I mean, you don't have to, but it's fun to layer your pieces. You could try 2 circles the same size. You could try, one circle slightly bigger than the other circle. I've tried all different kinds of ways. I tried smaller flowers, bigger flowers, just to see what I liked best. I tried rimming the flowers, the different layers, all in the same color, different colors. I tried different size centers. Um, so just kind of play around and see what you like with this. So you see, this is where I'm now just tracing the circles and cutting them out. It's not necessary to have a hole puncher. It just supposedly makes it faster if you get yours to work right. So even in fast forward motion, it's taking a while. I did a lot of these, and it was a lot of fun, and I'm so happy that I did it because these are really cute. I ended up putting it on a snippet, which will be in another video, my next video. So the way I approach it is that I cut out all the circles first, and then I put them together. So now I'm trying to use a stylus. I found the stylus worked okay on the smaller ones, just not really on the bigger ones. And so I'm gluing 2 layers down, and I vary, like sometimes I use the same size circles for my 2 layers of the flower petals, and then sometimes I used one bigger and one smaller, one slightly smaller, and then of course a really small center to put in there. So usually my flowers consisted of 3 layers. So now I'm putting some beads in the center of my flowers, just kind of experimenting with that. And also I tried some sequins as well. That's something you can try. Alright, I'm going to fast forward this part as well, just so I can give you all the information you need to know in the most time efficient way possible. So what I'm doing is just putting a coat of paint on the back of these mini Momigami Masterboards, and I decided I just didn't simply want a coat of paint, but I also wanted to distress it. So I'm using the gel plate to put the paint on first, and then I spray it with some distress oxide sprays, and I basically just kind of push the paper into the gel plate just to get the distress part of it, the spray, into random parts of the backing of that. And that's all. It's nothing complicated. And I'm going to make another video about using distress oxide sprays to make papers. So, but I thought I would just at least explain what I'm doing here.
Right, so now I want to take these and I want to make charms out of them. So these were from magazines that were Momigami'd, and I distress sprayed these. This was my art that I Momigami'd, and there's distress spray over that one. This is my art that I Momigami'd. No distress spray. More art. And more art. And more art. So these were all art that I Momigami'd. And I don't think any of these have distress spray on them. So I experimented with different types. So now what I'm going to do is cut these down into 2" by 1" squares, rectangles. 2" by 1", and then I'm going to use a punch to round the edges, and then I'm going to punch a hole in the top. So I'll show you that. Alright, I trimmed all these down. I didn't quite use all of them because I have this much left. I don't think I need that many charms, and I'm not really ready to sell things just yet. So what I'm going to do now is do a little edging on here, and you see how I have the backing, right? In the other video, I didn't see her give these things a back. But if they're charmed, they're going to be dangling. I'm going to see both sides. So I want to be able to see the back of it. I kind of missed that little edge, but I actually like it like that. So what I'm going to do is just take this, give them a little edge. I have to decide if I like that or not. She gave all hers a little edge. They do look cool though. Oh wait, you know what? When we trim them, maybe I should do the edge after I trim it. Because we're going to be trimming it. Alright, she used one of these things. It's a puncher, but you can have various round edges. But if you don't have one of these, you can always just... What do I want? Do I want that? You can always just do it yourself. I'm not sure I know how to do this right. I used it once. I think we go like that. Don't know how much luck with these things. I've used them before. Oh, I got a little, okay, I see the edge there. Suppose it makes a difference what angle you put them in. I'm very good at this. Well, now that edge looks funny. Where's my scissors? Oh, I brought my scissors inside. Well, I gotta leave it on there. Okay, so now we can. Well, now we can trim it. We'll trim it and then we'll put a hole punch in there like this. I'm going to trim the edge of this. I didn't quite get that even. Maybe I'll do a better job in the next one. Cute. Okay, so this was a combination of the magazines and my art. I really like that one. Okay, so let's try this one. Alright, so these are some of the charms that I made. Right, so these are the little flowers. And these are the charms.
Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you learned something. You should give it a try. It's a lot of fun. Maybe you could put your own personality and twist on it and enjoy them for your journal. It really was just a lot of fun. Bye. Have a great day and be blessed. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video.